All right, welcome back to the Mailbox. This is part two of a question we got about meetings. Like, what do you do when you're getting your first couple of meetings going as a noob? and we've already covered part one, like how to prepare for the meeting. So now we're talking about doing the meeting. So of course you're early. We talked about that. You're early. So if you're on the Zoom, we're like 5 minutes early. If you're in person, we want you there at least an hour early in the area, and then 15, 20 minutes walking in the door. Don't ever want to say I'm late because of traffic or the bridge went up or, helicopter went down or who knows what it is. If you get to where you're going early, you're going to be early. So get there. The other thing is I want you on that day to be crisp looking, okay? Crisp. That's either on Zoom or in person. That means whatever you're wearing is crisp, it's laundered, it's not wrinkled. So you wouldn't want to put on some nice clothes early this morning, work all day, and then go to the 3 o'clock presentation in the same look, all right? No, it sounds crazy. But if I'm going to the biggest presentation of my life for the first sales call I ever made, I'm not wearing the same clothes I wore to work that morning, all right? I've got some other clothes. I've got them with me. I'm going to change before I go. I'm going to look like I just started work that morning, and they're going to think, damn, that's a sharp man there. That's a sharp man. I don't know how he does it. He's just sharp. Or I could show up all wrinkly, right? And they could be thinking, ugh, I don't know. He don't look like such a winner to me. So it's important how you look. And I don't mean like trying to dress nicer than them. I mean that you're just crisp, okay? You're just solid. So when you get there, of course, you want to do all the normal stuff, your introductions. You want to shake everyone's hand, talk to them, be confident. Make sure you deal with them, even though you'll be younger for the most part, on an equal basis, right? They're business people, you're a business people. You're not some kid, talking to a grown-up. You're just you're now adult, trying to find out if your stuff can help their business. So remember, when you introduce yourself and you're talking to these folks, even though there's a difference in age, don't let it get you. You got to be equal in this environment. And I would say, at the beginning, it's very important. It's kind of your meeting. They've asked you there to present them, how you might be able to help the company. Sometimes those meetings, the inviter might take over and might say, well, we got John here today. Let me tell you, they're going to do their little thing, and that's completely fine, right? It's their business. Let them say what they're going to say. But at some point, you get the stage, and at that point, you need to set the agenda, okay? You don't want to step all over the person who just talked, but you want to say, I heard what Charlie said, and that's exactly right, and let me add a few things to it. You want to take over at that point and make sure they understand how long we're going to be here today. Because those people, some of them at this meeting are looking at their watch, they got another thing going on, they're trying to close another deal. The way to really make angry all of these people is to waste their time or to go over time. So tell them, we got 45 minutes today, so we're going to be out the door at 3:45, maybe earlier if we get done. So make sure they understand how much time we're going to have. Make sure you go over the agenda, okay? And this is something you could easily put on the board. You might get up there and write it on the board and say, we're going to go over, we've already had introductions, we're going to go over this, we're going to go over this, we're going to go over this. At the end of this, I'm going to ask you, have we proven to you that this is going to help your business? And hopefully, let's just assume you say yes. I'm going to ask you, since the answer is yes, what would you like to do now? I'm going to ask you for the business if we've proven it. So that's going to happen down here at the end before 3:45, and just let them know that that's just how it's going to go. And it'll be easier to ask the question once they know that. So then, kind of once you go over the time and the agenda and what we think is going to happen during the meeting, then it's time to do the solution. And, we don't want to just start showing our product. Okay. Again, I've seen so many bad demos in my life where you say, well, great. My company is Foxfire, and let me start by showing you our menu. First thing is our security, and this is how we set up our users. And, that kind of dumb stuff that doesn't have anything to do with their problem. So what you want to do is you want to start your presentation off by confirming with the group that we came out here, we interviewed your people, we did a global survey, we did this, we did that, and we determined that all of you think if you change out this procedure over here and you have better software, you're going to improve operations by $1 million a year in 10 different operations. And this has been going on for 3 years now. You've been trying to solve this. You hadn't solved it yet. So we're talking about a $30 million problem over 3 years. Is that correct? They're going to say, yeah, that's correct, Charlie. I told you. I'm trying to do this for 3 years. How about 5 years? How about 10 years since I got here? Right? That's what you want to hear. They're talking about this big problem. They've been trying to solve it. They can't solve it. And you say, great. We're here to find out whether or not our stuff can solve this for you. That's all it is. And so we propose to show you today that we have this specific demo of how our software would flow your stuff through your plant versus how you do it today. And we're going to show you that today. And when we're finished, we'll talk about whether or not it's going to help you. So at the end of this presentation, which again should be no more than just showing them this flow, because that's all they care about, you want to make sure you kind of by a show of hands that everyone understand that. And they're going to say yes, no, whatever. Say, great. Do you think it can solve your problem? And if they say yes, say, well, what would you like to do now? That's kind of the question. You don't want to say, give me an order. That's kind of you ask for something and they kind of push back and say, what would you like to do? They're like, well, damn it, we need to get it, right? We need to get that stuff. How do we get it? Say, well, then let's talk. So that's the way you want it to go. Probably in there somewhere, they're going to say, well, we need more information or we need to talk to a reference. Or it just doesn't always go where you get the order, right at that time. But that is the flow you want. And at the end, very important, even if you don't get the order right then, is you agree on what we're going to do next. And you can say, well, listen, Charlie and everyone else, thank you for listening. I didn't expect y'all to give me a $5 million order today. I expected to be some more questions before we just go forward with my plan. So that's okay. But what I would like to do is agree that we should keep going forward and that we are going to get that reference for you. And we are going to figure out how we do the this and the that. And that we're going to come back together Wednesday of next week and we're going to do this again. And if we get these two things right, you guys are going to push to go forward and get this done. And that's, if they won't say yes to that, if they just say, well, hey, just send me a brochure, you probably don't have a deal, okay? So you want to push them for this next meeting and say, let's get it on Wednesday or next Tuesday or week from Thursday, whatever it is. You have to get that agreed to so you're moving forward. And as long as you're moving forward on a deal like this, then you're moving in the right direction. So big picture, that's how you handle the in-person. And the funny thing about that, I'm sure as you realize, is there was very little about our company, very little about our software, our technology, how big we are, how many employees we have, how many countries we're in, how many companies I bought, none of that, because they don't care. In fact, it just kind of pisses them off a little bit. They don't want to hear how great I am or how great our company is. They want to hear that I heard them and they do have a problem. And I've come to show them how we can help them. That's what everybody wants. So that's how you handle the meeting in person. And if you need more information, contact me at noobschool.org and we'll take care of business.